All right, a little update on the last video, which was me testing out some new features that are going to be coming up on Peak Monsters, and I just actually did quite a bit of things right now. I was like, oh, I got to record a little bit of this. So let me just show you what's up. I am picking all the cards that aren't rented, that are rentable, and I believe I had it set to a minimum CP, but it's not showing there. So let me just show you what I would be doing. I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to look for all the cards that are worth renting, probably above 100 CP. And I've got, let me just make sure it's all the cards that are rentable. There's 1,100 of these cards. Some of these are gold cards that I should probably move over to my gold account. So let's just check the regular cards. All right. Now we're ready to go. I'm going to hit select all. It will max out at 1,000. So there'll be 116 that aren't selected. I'm going to hit Control R if you remember the hotkeys. Control R? Control Alt R? Not sure what's going on. Oh, just took a moment. Just took a moment. Things slow down when you're doing the recording, so there's a ton of cards here. And so we can look at the difference between the different ones. We can hit start with conservative. It'll load all the prices of all 1,000. Give it a moment. By the time we get down to the bottom, I'm guessing 215,000 CP, which is kind of average, 215 CP per card. All right, there we are. So 548 DEC a day. If we go to the aggressive, loaded them already, 816, which isn't too bad. Let's kind of peruse through and see what the low ones are. Obviously, the reward cards, we're going to expect to be some of the low ones, 0.3, 0.8 on these reward cards. There's a lot of reward cards, a lot of the Chihuahuas. Actually, if we click on the Chihuahua, this will be interesting. It is quite a few of the cards. And we go down to the bottom. This section will be changing. But you can see what's actually pretty interesting is they're being listed somewhat around that price. Not exactly sure how many are being listed at 0.314, but we're going to be 0.313, which is actually really convenient. So what probably happened is maybe someone else used the 80th percentile that is doing testing right now, and they got listed at 0.314, and that changed the 80th percentile because of all those listings to go down just a fraction. So now it's 0.313. All right, the rest of the numbers are, I'm just going to trust that they're pretty good. We've done a lot of testing. I guess one last thing, end of the season set lowest actually could end up being higher. Most of the season it would be lower, but let's go take a look. It does now load super fast. So we got 818, but as you can see, 0.1 on a lot of cards, and then there's probably a few cards that go up quite a bit higher. So 818 versus, if we did aggressive, back to aggressive, I should say. When you still need to go down to the bottom anyways to hit the load, the confirm button. It's about the same amount. But in testing, which I will show you now, it ends up just being a better price anyways. So if you guys remember from the previous video, so it's loading all these real fast. Um, we had made identical sets. So set 2, and these things are in the way. I need to unclick rentable. Click that. So set 2 was using the 80th percentile, and it loaded them at 2.4 something. But each day, or I came back in here in the week since this video came out, and I would select the not delegated and kind of reprice these with the new 80th percentile. So one of the things, though, to consider is to click this and then only click the ones that haven't been rented and played in the last 24 hours. So not that I always did it. Sometimes I reprice these ones, which don't make sense because they were rented recently. So if I were to do this, I'd do Control Alt U, and it would go from 49 to 53. It would actually raise the price on a couple of these. Or maybe I would say, if I wasn't doing this test at 80th, I would say, okay, if these guys aren't being rented at the 80th, maybe I can go to the 66th. It would still raise this one a little bit. So, and this one would go down from 20.69. Well, let's take a look at it. It would go down 26.9 is down here, so it's not too far down in the list. A 20 would be fine. You could also go through these manually because there's not going to be a ton in the end, and you could just beat this one or set lowest market price on them. So, um, so you have these opportunities. So you you know it's a difference between 53 and 39, 43, 35. So you have some options. I think that these will end up getting rented soon anyways. So this one though is probably not. Look at there's so many right now being available. All 5 of these would be under the 80th percentile. So we're just gonna not mess with this and see. I'll try to remember these names, but I'm sure these things are going to get rented again here pretty soon. There's a lot coming through, and the reality is there's only 9 of the. Um, oh, sorry, I gotta unclick this right here. I was going to say there's a lot more than that. 169. Let's see which ones aren't delegated. Okay, so there's a few more of these low CP cards that are presently being delegated out and haven't been delegated out in the last. Well, I should say delegated out and played, so some people can rent them but not end up playing them, and they won't have this status. So, all right. So, what is the results? 2355, and we got to compare it. So we have the other one that is using the list at low, and the max it could get is 21, so it's already lower, but it's only 1800. So there are actually more of them being that aren't delegated, but they represent a much higher amount. They've got this 144, 10, 20, 20, 39. So kind of the more expensive cards aren't actually, like being rented out. When you were looking at test 2A, look at the prices on these ones, the 0.1, 0.3, 0.4, 0.4, 0.3, 0.1, all, there's a 0.1 not even being rented out. And yeah, so the total on these is 115 of possibility, whereas here it's 295 of possibility not being rented out. So there is quite a significant impact here. So, and it's very, very fast to rent these, to rent them and to change the prices as well. So we're on 2B, so that's so I could go into here, click these ones, and I'm done. I can confirm this. So actually, I wanted to see what the number was to begin with. So let's go back in here. So 233, if I hit this, it's going to go way down, particularly on this one from 144 to 82. Let's take a look here. I mean, it's 82, even though there's a 77. So that's interesting. There's two of these available, but it doesn't look like it's been rented in a little while. Let's just go with what it's a test. I'm trying to make it really fast and just put those things in there. So we'll keep these ones going because they were actually rented recently. So there you go. Very, very quick to load cards like that. So um uh, yeah, I'm not sure what else to show you guys. Test 1A was an account that's using kind of the Archmage bot that they're letting me test. The daily rewards, over 6 daily rewards, is averaged to about 70 cents a day because I got lucky on 2 days with quite high amounts. Um, and it's not like letting me scroll down. So I'm going to refresh this and then click on 1A. And there we go. So you can see how many of the cards are actually being played. Not all that much, which is interesting because I guess it focuses on one per day, one splinter per day. All right, so let's move over to the other test, and we're getting about 1,200. So in reality, the Archmage is doing a little bit better. So this would be something like, well, I could do the math, 1,286 times 0.00062. So it's about 80 cents per day, um, which means that the Archmage, with the average right now at 70 cents, even though that would normally go down per day, uh, that the Archmage would be a little bit better because it's also doing the season and it's got up to 90 pack or 90 chests so far. So that should do pretty good. So the Archmage would do better. It would be worth a little bit more than the renting at 80th percentile, except for the fact that Archmage tokens are extremely expensive, like $20, $30. So it would take many, many seasons to earn that back. And they're planning on taking a percentage of your rewards in the future. So um, the reality is maybe it could still even be better to do a some sort of bot or play yourself, play the account yourself, and also if you were to just rent out certain cards and not have such a huge set of them, then playing or botting could be better than the renting because you could be more particular about what cards. But also, renting takes very, very little time. So, and which cards are not being rented out? Most of them are. There's a couple of them that haven't been in the last 24 hours. They look like they're the more expensive ones: 7, 3, 7, and 11. So, um, renting them all out again Could be very fast, is the 80th percentile may have changed on us. So I'm going to click it. And it did change actually with one of them going from 7 to 19. That's interesting. And then this one from 7 to 5.7, 11.6 to 6, and then from 3 to 7.4. Fascinating. So if we click on them, we see that the 80th percentile went way up while the lowest market price went way down. Very interesting. 50th percentile, though, changes quite a bit. I'm going to leave it pretty much untouched and see what happens to the 4 a little bit later. We are coming towards the end of the season. And yeah, there we go. So let's actually click and see if there's some more cards that are rentable above 50 CP. So rentable cards above 50. So I'm going to select them all and hit rent. Oops, hit Control R. What's going on? So I have a couple of cards that are the ones. Sorry, these 4 are still selected. That was a mistake. If I get rid of that gelatinous cube, I'm now able to rent. So let's select aggressive renting because it's actually been very good for me so far. One wonders if maybe we even want a little bit higher. All right, so I should add about another 1,300 DEC a day. A bunch of these gold cards got in there. I guess I'll leave them there. And hit confirm. And they're all getting rented. So, pretty fast stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful. Peace out.